gotta be decent. Want it to look good, but not scandalous. Oh my gosh. So at first, I wasn't going to acknowledge this at all. I thought it was a little dumb, to be honest, but then I started to analyze it, and I then thought, well, I did the Fantastic Four Valentine's Day poster, so why not a birthday invitation? What a weird way to debut your villain's look. Or is it? But then, upon further analysis of this invitation, I stumbled upon something that just completely blew my mind. Hello, my little filmer dudes. My name is Ivan Montero, and thank you for joining me in my journey to watch everything. Now, let me just say that at first, I absolutely hated everything about this invitation. And the most glaring thing on this invitation is that awful costume. A purple cape? Purple cape? Oh, I hate it so much. You're not the Green Goblin. And the more I looked at this on the surface, the more I hated it. I just kept on hating this thing. It's so bad. It's almost ugly Sonic levels. Not quite that bad, but almost there. However, again, after my analysis, I am pretty excited, and I hope that after my analysis, I will have changed your perspective and you will also be excited for what this actually means. There are 5 key takeaways, there might be more after writing this, I don't know anymore, but there are 5 key takeaways to take from this invitation that play into my wild theory at the end of this video. And wait till you hear what I got cooking. Oh, I cooked like a lot. First, let's talk about that ridiculous costume, since it's really got the most nothing to do with my final theory. Honestly, green jumpsuit, a jumpsuit. Anthony and Joe Russo. What are you doing? This is so unflattering, even as artwork, and I cannot believe that this was commissioned and approved as part of the marketing, because of course this is part of the marketing. But yikes a doodle do, Iron Man. This is rough. Plus the hair. Robert Downey Jr. was recently spotted toting this hairstyle, which I must say does make him look more European, more look like the part. However, the internet doesn't care for it. Doesn't care for it at all. They say no, but it's true. This is the hairstyle that we're going to get. This is the hairstyle that Robert Downey Jr. is going to have for Doomsday. At least this Dr. Doom is going to have this hairstyle. But what is with that purple cape? I understand that purple is a color of royalty, but your color scheme is silver and green, man. You're not Kang. Or are you? Not wild theory time yet, but I think I figured out why the purple. But I just gotta say, I absolutely hate it. I made it make sense for me, but I still hate it. Silver and green. If it's not silver and green, I don't want it. But this is the most interesting thing to me. His gauntlets. He's got 2 of them. Of course, he's got 2 hands, but what's most interesting are what are above each hand. On one hand, it's an atom symbol. It's science, because of course, Victor Von Doom is a man of science. But on the other hand, that's magic. That's a magic wand. We have, ladies and gentlemen, confirmation that Dr. Doom in the MCU is going to be both magic and science. Balanced as all things should be. This Dr. Doom would make Thanos proud. And this is the very first time that the proper magic using Dr. Doom is going to be portrayed in a big blockbuster movie. I'm excited because at least this is the one thing that got me the most excited was this confirmation of magic and the science. And I think that is great. Could one of these gauntlets be the Infinity Gauntlet while the other gauntlet could be the Iron Gauntlet? Maybe. Now let's talk about the location. Honestly, I just cannot get over the location that is being teased on this invitation. At first, I thought it's got to be Latveria. It's Latveria. What else could it be? But then I looked a little closer. That's Big Ben. What? I even Googled Big Ben silhouette to confirm if it was a Big Ben silhouette, and guess what? That's Big Ben. I don't know what these other buildings are, but that's clearly Big Ben, and Big Ben is in Westminster, London, and London is in England. And then, right in front of my eyes, that's the Great Britain flag. And to top it all off, that's a coach, or a chariot, we don't know what a coach is. But oh boy, that's a London coach, driven, can you drive? By Doom coachmen. But most importantly, the flag of Great Britain is the main background pattern for the Westminster, London, England skyline. But this begs the question, what the hell is Dr. Doom doing in England if he's supposed to be from Latveria? But there's absolutely no hints, no inklings of Latveria anywhere in this invitation. So what the heck is going on? At first, I thought perhaps this might be a way of saying RDJ's party is going to be in London, but then why would Big Ben be in this invitation if it was? And why would Big Ben be in the invitation if it wasn't? And guess what? It wasn't. RDJ's party was in California. So why is Big Ben in this invitation, Robert? Another thing to note here is the time period, and I do actually think that I figured out the time period, and the time period is right here. It's just staring at us in the face. But it has a lot to do with my final wild theory, so the only thing I'm gonna leave with you is 1860s, or 1800s rather, but past 1860s. More to come later in this video, I promise. Now, I want to turn our attention to these Doom coachmen for a bit here. Are these Doom bots or are these Doom variants? Ooh, first option is that they are LMDs. Now, whether you're a longtime Marvel Comics reader, a general Dr. Doom enthusiast, or a fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I might have piqued your interest with LMDs. That's right, life model decoys. As so famously used by Victor Von Doom himself, life model decoys are, well, they're basically life model robots that are used as decoys. I'm sorry, I don't know how else to say it. Basically, if I had a life model decoy, it would be me, but a robot. And I wouldn't even know that I was a life model decoy. I wouldn't know. I would just live my life until I just ceased to circuit. But that is how Dr. Doom always got away from the Fantastic Four and the Avengers. He was never actually there. He was just sitting pretty on his Latvian throne, just honestly doing nothing but watch. Honestly, I'm just stellar villain. And perhaps we'll actually see these LMDs in the actual Dr. Doom getup as part of the storyline, or perhaps we'll see some lesser versions of these Doombots as the robot villains that our heroes have to plow through, because we have to have something that our heroes have to fight. I mean, in defense for LMDs, Tony Stark did have his Iron Legion in Iron Man 3, and Ultron did have his Ultron bots in Age of Ultron, so the realm of possibility that Doom could have both LMDs and Doombots, they're both there. But if these are Doombots driving the coach, then why are the Doombots more comics accurate than RDJ himself? However, if these are Doom variants driving the coach, then how powerful is RDJ's Doom that the other Dooms are obeying his every command? Honestly, I don't think that these are other Doom variants. Possibly, but I honestly think that these are here to tell us that do not worry, we will have the classic Doom costume as well as this ridiculous, stupid Robert Downey Jr. costume. All of the costumes are going to be there, so fret not, it will be fine. But now it's wild theory time. First and foremost, I believe that Tony Stark in the MCU is not actually Tony Stark, but is a variant of Dr. Doom himself. Now, this theory has been circulating the internet for a while now, but wait until you hear this. I'm going to add upon this theory. Back in 2014, it was revealed in the comics that Tony Stark was not actually Maria and Howard's biological son, but rather was adopted to be the public figure son, while their actual son, Arno Stark, was hidden away and put on highly advanced life support after Howard Stark discovered and interfered with experimentations being done on Arno Stark because of a weird... It gets complicated, it gets weird, but honestly, I kinda dug it. I mean, it's a big commentary on fascism and status and wealth and appearance and opportunity and all of the such. I mean, the Starks even got super lucky when Tony started showing love and an affinity for mechanics and was insanely intelligent like Howard was, if not more. All of the cards fell into place for the Starks. I liked this storyline when it came out. I did read it. I thought it was great. However, not many people did, but it's canon. It's a canon thing in the comics. Tony Stark is adopted. So I'm wondering if we're actually going to see something similar to this in the MCU. I bet you in every other universe, we have a different Tony Stark that is also adopted by the Starks, but it's the Tony Stark proper. And this Tony Stark looks nothing like Robert Downey Jr. at all. So how did Robert Downey Jr. Victor Von Doom end up being adopted by the Starks in the main MCU timeline if in every other timeline it was Tony Stark proper? Well, my lovely filmer dudes, who did we just learn is in the habit of having time displaced variants in the MCU? Kang the Conqueror, rather He Who Remains. He did it with Victor Timely already, having Victor be his insurance if anything should happen to He Who Remains at the end of time. So what if Kang replaced the real Tony Stark and Victor Von Doom in this MCU timeline? Because who He Who Remains was truly afraid of wasn't the other Kang variants, but Doom himself. And by replacing both babies, he's effectively shut out the possibility of having a Doom in the MCU timeline. But because He Who Remains is now He Who Loki's, and got a story Loki doesn't actually know about Kang's original plan, then my guess is Dr. Doom proper is now able to make his way into the MCU and figured out what happened to him in this timeline and seek revenge by causing incursions to happen in order to amass his own perfect battle world, but his own perfect multiverse world. Yes, I think that Dr. Doom, isn't trying to destroy the multiverse per se. I think he's going around collecting universes, Thanos style. Making my boy very, very proud. So why London 1860s? Well, I want you to note this date right here. Now, I know this is Robert Downey Jr.'s birthday, but taking one step further, as I normally do, I researched which Marvel comics debuted on April 4th, 1965, and what I found completely blew me away. So, technically, these didn't come out on April 4th, but they did come out the week of April 4th, and Marvel Wiki Archives have them by the week, so I'll take it. But on April 8th, 1965, two comics were released of note. The first one, the Fantastic Four, number 40, The Battle of the Baxter Building, which features Dr. Doom taking over the Baxter Building and the Fantastic Four having to take it back. That's pretty much all that happens in that story, so we're gonna ignore that one. And the second one, which we're gonna focus on, is Strange Tales number 134, The Challenge of the Watcher, which featured Kang the Conqueror going back in time to King Arthur's era to alter history to prevent the Fantastic Four from existing and getting his revenge. And the Watcher is the one who tells the Fantastic Four about Kang's plan and sends them back in time for them to interfere. Technically, it was just the Thing and Human Torch, but the thing we want to focus on is the fact it was London back in time, and Kang the Conqueror, green and purple. But, okay, so we have a date linking back-ish to a comic that features Kang the Conqueror going back in time to England, and we have this invitation of Doctor Doom poorly cosplaying as Kang the Conqueror with his purple cape and green jumpsuit in England back in time. Okay, but King Arthur was speculated to be either the 5th or 6th century, not the 19th century. Well, the key, my filmer dudes, is Big Ben. You see, building for Big Ben started in September 1843 and was completed in 1859, 16 years later, 1 year before 1860s, and who do we know is waiting for that TVA handbook to drop through their window in 1868? Victor Timely, child Victor Timely. Now, it's never fully explained who Victor Timely actually is. Loki season 2 made it out to be that this guy might just be another guy who looks like He Who Remains and is then given the TVA handbook and then kind of becomes a variant of He Who Remains in a new branch timeline. I never really bought that, because if it is just some other guy, how does he have the same / similar DNA just because he read a book? Ridiculous. Myself and many others theorize that Victor Timely was actually placed in 1860s by He Who Remains himself as a contingency plan, just in case Victor Timely needed to be activated by that TVA handbook. Here's the thing. What if Victor Timely actually exists in every single universe as the grandfather, basically, of all Kangs? He is the key that leads to the creation of the rest of the Kangs. Victor Timely, given the TVA handbook, becomes a variant of He Who Remains. There's no need for He Who Remains in the 30th century, because He Who Remains and every other Kang the Conqueror is from the 30th century, a descendant of Reed Richards. So removing the fact that Timely was placed in the 1860s, but he was naturally born in the 1860s, that would mean that Victor Timely would then pass his DNA down onto Reed Richards, who would then pass it down onto Kang the Conqueror in the future in the 30th century. So what if, and hear me out, what if Victor Timely is basically one half of the molecules man's rolled from Secret Wars? Oh my god, what if Dr. Doom's goal in Doomsday is to go back to the 1860s, maybe 1880s, 1890s, because in the 60s, Victor Timely was a child. Unless Dr. Doom is that intense to pull an Anakin Skywalker, then maybe. I do think he'd be that malicious, he do be that evil. Especially if he discovers that Kang effectively removed him from this MCU equation. But just like in Secret Wars #1, how Dr. Doom's quest was to kill every molecule man in every timeline minus his own timeline in order to fast track incursions, effectively killing the multiverse faster than it was dying, also that Doom could then create his own perfect world comprised of the main 616 comics universe and the Ultimate Comics universe, and live happily ever after. Just like that, I think that's going to be the case in this situation. I think Dr. Doom is going to kill every single Victor Timely, not only effectively erasing every Kang from existence, but also causing incursions and dooming the entire multiverse. All except from his own universe, the one from which Reed Richards is from, Pedro Pascal Reed Richards, but that's a whole other theory for a whole nother day. And I think the person who will be the one to actually create this new universe will be Wanda. I mean, think about it. What Dr. Doom did in the comics for Secret Wars, Wanda did to Westview in WandaVision. So what if that TVA comics is canon to the movies and Wanda is at the TVA, that would make a lot of sense why Doom would end up going to the TVA, not just because he's looking for Loki, but he's also looking for Wanda, the key, chaos magic, because after all, she is a Nexus being and she's supposed to be the only one in the universe. But what if this Wanda is the only Wanda that has chaos magic, thus still her being a Nexus being? And Doom is likely going to convince Wanda to do this because she has a chance to save the entire universe. She has a chance to redeem herself and to be the hero, and not just be the hero, but to have her own family back as well. It's a win-win for Wanda, so Wanda is obviously going to say, yes, let there be a new universe. And wouldn't it be crazy if, Molecule Man style, Loki agrees to this and hands the reins over to Doctor Doom? Instead of there being just a giant fight between Loki and Doctor Doom, it's more of a civil conversation, a philosophical conversation, and Loki just gives those reins right over to Doctor Doom. Crazy! But here's the craziest bit. What if Doctor Doom is actually from the 1800s? Hear me out. Why would Kang be so afraid of Doctor Doom if Doctor Doom has already survived in the 30th century? If Doctor Doom is a Fantastic Four villain in whatever time period they end up being in, then why would Kang be so afraid of Doctor Doom? Well, what if, in order for Kang the Conqueror to exist, Doctor Doom must not? What if Victor Timely and Victor Von Dooms were peers in the same universe, in the same timeline, in the same time period? Victor versus Victor, instead of it being Victor versus Reed Richards. I think that would be mighty interesting. If that's the case, I would imagine that Victor Timely gets beaten out or killed by Doom every single time in every single universe, thus preventing Kang the Conqueror from existing. We still have a Reed Richards, but we don't have that multiversal knowledge or whatever that Kang the Conqueror would have later on. So perhaps He Who Remains is a variant from a timeline in which Victor Timely does come out on top, the only one in which Victor Timely comes out on top, leading to Kang's creation. Thus, the idea of shutting out Doom was born, and Kang will have successfully have done so, but in doing so, more Kangs were then created, thus having the need to have a sacred timeline to eliminate all Doom and illuminate all Kang. But in poetic fashion, Loki and Sylvie breaking He Who Remains cycle is what restarts the cycle for Doom and his variants to take over Kang and all of theirs. Thus, Doom's conquest is to kill every single Victor Timely, preventing Victor Timely from ever getting his chance to lead to Kang the Conqueror, thus explaining the purple cape. The purple cape is from Kang the Conqueror, I almost guarantee you. But what about Reed Richards? If Doom kills Victor Timely in the past, how is Reed alive? That's why I'm saying Doom likely kills Victor Timely as an adult, because Victor Timely probably would have done the deed and probably got married, then done the deed, and then would have had a descendant. So that solves that. But if Doctor Doom does kill Victor Timely as a kid in the MCU timeline, that would then explain why there is no Fantastic Four. I don't know. I think I cooked with this one, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. My social media links are in the description below. Am I missing anything? Let's theorize together. Let's add on to this and let's see if we can figure out, well, why the heck Doctor Doom is in London and why Big Ben is on this invitation. Why, Robert? Why? My social media links are in the description below, and I will see you next time. You've just been Montified.